Most of you will already be aware of who 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony was. The majority will know that she sadly passed away at some point between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. on June 16, 2008. Her death is undoubtedly the most heartbreaking part of this story, and we only need a single word to epitomize her short life: tragic. But the primary subject of this video is not about the life nor the death of Kaylee Marie Anthony. It is in fact about the psychological constitution of her mother, 22-year-old Casey Marie Anthony. So rather than tragic, you'll find the words disturbing and perplexing.
Man, does she
far
look
better
crazy.
suited to the theme of this video.
Look at wait, just wait. Just you just gotta hear this what she says. She's a fucking psycho, Jay.
Has little to do with the actual occurrences of the crime, but in fact the subsequent developments that follow. People are no longer talking about how or even why Kaylee Anthony passed away. They are instead talking about the manner in which a mother responded to her daughter's death. Given all the acquired information we now have, even if we afford this person the most morally acceptable possibility of what occurred, her manner of conduct was still unimaginably cold-blooded. This is driven home by the fact she was evaluated by 2 clinical psychologists during her time in custody, and not a single abnormality was discovered with relation to her psychological state. In other words, there were no signs of mental illness whatsoever. And this makes the character study of Casey Anthony just as fascinating as it is terrifying. A human being's state of mind is something most accurately assessed with the full capacity of hindsight. So before we evaluate our first segment of raw footage, here's a quick rundown of each of the essential moments that will give you a broader understanding of what we're actually dealing with. On the 15th of July, 2008, Orlando police received a call from Cindy Anthony, the grandmother of the victim.
911, what's your emergency? I called a little bit ago, the deputy sheriff. I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. We're talking about a 3-year-old little girl. My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her. Your daughter admitted that the baby is where? But the babysitter took her a month ago. My daughter's been looking for her. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself.
Okay, right there is a sign, bro. She's been hiding this for a whole month that she lost her daughter. And now she's telling her mom, bro, a month later, bro. Yeah, bro.
That's a sign right there, bro.
like, oh yeah, I lost my daughter. Like, what?
I know, right? And then you gonna be acting scared. Yeah, I lost her. When did you lose her? A month ago. Like, what? Like, come on, man.
Okay,
like, you misplaced her or some shit? What? Was she falling on the couch?
Kaylee. Caylee, Anthony. Kaylee Anthony? Yes. How long has she been missing for? I have not seen her since the 7th of June. Is your daughter there? Yes. Can I speak with her?
Okay, if she sound crazy right here, simple.
That's not even the craziest she sounds though. Like, she gets crazier.
Hello? Hello? Yes. Can you tell me what's going on?
Why does she sound so calm though? Like,
a little bit. I'm sorry.
Because she is.
What's going on? My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days. And you know who has her?
And now you want to report, huh? 31 days later?
Contact her.
You got to report in 2 days, bro. 31 days is kind of suspicious, you know?
Received a phone call today. Now from a number that is no longer in service. I did get to speak to my daughter.
Like, as the story goes on, you kind of see it. Like, maybe she is this irresponsible that she lost her daughter.
Who has her?
No way,
Do you have a name? Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
To give some context to this bizarre phone call, Casey Anthony had left the family home with her daughter a month earlier, stating that she had a work assignment in Tampa and would be traveling the entire time. Kaylee's grandparents would ask repeatedly over the following month to see, or at least speak to their granddaughter, but Casey claimed each and every time that she was too busy with work and that Kaylee was with a nanny who went by the name Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, or Zanny for short. On July 15th, exactly 6 weeks after Kaylee Kaylee was last seen
Her
by her
fucking lawyer?
grandparents, George
Yeah.
Anthony
Amazing,
received
bro.
a phone call
He has
that
an
the
amazing
family
lawyer?
car was at the impound.
She has an
This
amazing
immediately
lawyer, bro.
alerted suspicion, as it was the same car Casey had supposedly been traveling with for
you
work.
said she gets away
Suspicion
with it?
turned into panic once
Yeah.
they picked up the
There's no
vehicle, and
fucking
George
way,
discovered
bro.
a strong odor emanating from the trunk, one that he recognized from his years as a police officer, and found comparable to
Now
that
I'm
of
kinda
human
mad, bro.
decomposition. Through contacting one of Casey's friends, her parents managed to track her down at her boyfriend's house in Orlando, where they were found smoking marijuana and watching TV. When inquired over the whereabouts of her daughter, Casey stated that she had been kidnapped 31 days before by the supposed babysitter. It was at that moment Cindy Anthony called 911.
911, what's your emergency? Who has her? Do you have a name? Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. Who is that? Babysitter? She's been my nanny for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
Right.
I've been looking for her and have gone through other
31 days. 30.
resources.
It's a
to
sign
try
right
to
here,
find
bro.
her,
Come
which
on.
is stupid. I think the officers are here. The officers are there? Yes.
Now let's indulge in the world of fantasy for just a moment and pretend all of what Casey had just stated was true. She had indeed been working, and her daughter was in fact kidnapped by the babysitter a month earlier. The immediate premise most would gather would be that Casey had no regard for her daughter whatsoever. In the 911 call, there was no urgency nor concern in her voice, and rather than her volunteering information, which most parents would do in a frantic manner, it had to be acquired by the dispatcher through repeated inquisition. All you have to do is compare Casey's dialogue to that of her mother's in the same phone call. One was indifferent, while the other was distraught. Police would have picked up on this immediately. Even without the bizarre phone call, the
The one thing, bro, too is I don't like these screenshots that just slapping on the screen, bro. I get a little creeped out.
This is a little creepy, right?
circumstances alone
bro,
would make
I
Casey
keep
the
looking at
prime
my
suspect
door,
in
you
her
know?
daughter's disappearance.
Like
She
she
was
finna be just
immediately
standing
interviewed
right
as a
there, bro.
witness, which
I looked
unbeknownst
at
to
her, and
her
her
was the
face is just
detective's
right
first
there.
step in locking her into as many
Screaming,
lies as
dog.
possible.
Day right now is July 16, 2008.
It's
I'm
like you
at
think
my
I'm guilty,
Like,
huh?
bro, I'ma just hit him with the bow, and then she right there. Oh, I'm screaming, bro. No.
now is 0411 hours. I'm Detective Mellish with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I am with Casey Anthony, is that correct?
Yes.
Casey, you understand this is being recorded?
Yes.
You have any objection to that?
No.
All right. Casey, I got called here in reference to a missing child.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, bro. When last time I got like interviewed or like a cop was asking me questions, bro, I was mad nervous. I don't know why. It's something about these police officers. He was white though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, guess where they're from?
But he was kind of cool though, you know. What do you mean?
Just guess where they live at, right?
Lake Forest?
No. The craziest city, the craziest state in this fucking country.
Alabama?
Nah.
Atlanta?
No.
LA? California?
No.
Oh,
Fucking Florida.
well, they are crazy down there, bro.
You took Casey to.
Fuck crazy. They might be
babysitter.
stupid out there, bro. Like
And who was this babysitter?
Her name
Mentally
is Zenaida
disabled, bro.
Fernandez Gonzalez.
How long had you known Zenaida?
Almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years Christmas this year.
And where did you meet her? Who did you meet her through?
A mutual friend. His name is Jeffrey Michael Hopkins. I met him at Nickelodeon at Universal, and I met her through him. She was his son's nanny at the time.
Does Jeffrey still work at Universal?
No, he does not.
How long has it been since he left?
About 9-10 months, give or take. He moved up to North Carolina for a short time and moved down to Jacksonville within the last 3 months.
How would you characterize your relationship with Miss Anthony?
Never mind. I was gonna say something.
More or less acquaintances.
Let me see what he gotta
We're
say.
very good friends.
Not very good.
What did he
friends.
say? What did he
did
just
Chris,
say?
like-
More or less acquaintances.
We not really
Very
good
good friends.
friends.
Not very good friends.
They're
Yeah,
not
he was
very-
on there with
They're
it.
not very good friends. How does she know everything that he was doing for like the past year and a half, bro? Like he moved down to South Carolina, moved back to Jacksonville, bro. Like 3 months. Like, what? Y'all not good friends. I know you guys don't talk.
Did you ever?
What were you gonna say tomorrow?
I don't even remember.
My bad, bro.
No, you're good.
Did
You're
you work
good.
at Universal Studios?
I did.
When did you work at Universal Studios?
Oh, he worked at
Approximately 2002.
How long did you work there for?
1 year.
Did you ever work there at the same time that Casey Anthony worked there?
I don't think so.
right there. That's another. Bro, there's no way in hell she got away with this,
You
bro.
don't recall ever seeing her there?
Never.
Did you ever introduce Casey Anthony to a woman by the name of Zenaida Gonzalez?
I did not.
It's
Did
a whole
you
bunch of
ever
cap,
use
bro.
Zenaida Gonzalez as a nanny?
No, sir.
Do you have any
The
children?
cap on this app, huh?
Yes.
Have you lived in the Orlando area consistently since
Cap on this
2002?
girl.
Yes, sir.
This is
Have
hard.
you ever lived in Jacksonville?
No, sir.
Have you ever lived in North Carolina?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So how did she get away with? Oh my
Did you see
God,
Casey
yo!
Anthony in the month
She just seems so stupid,
June
right?
of 2008?
No, sir.
I want to know what this lawyer was going through when he was watching these tapes. You know?
Sir.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
About a week and a half ago.
Do you know a telephone number for him?
I can find a number for him. I don't know a number offhand. No, I do not.
So you met Zenaida through Jeffrey Hopkins
I did.
and
Man,
his son
Jeffrey
Zach
don't even
Hopkins. I
know
guess
who-
Zenaida used to watch over Zach.
Yes.
And when did she start watching over your child?
It's been
Are we gonna see Zenaida in here? I hope so.
within the last year and a half, 2 years that she started
They
watching
finna hit me with a
Kaylee.
big plot.
How would you
twist.
normally
He
drop
died.
off? How would you
Like,
normally do the exchange with your child and Zenaida? Would you drop the child off? Would she meet you somewhere?
I would usually drop her off for a few months. We would go over to Jeff's house. He lived over in Avalon Park
And you would go to Jeff's house why?
to drop off Kaylee. That's where Zenaida would go to watch both of the kids.
Okay.
It was in a nice centralized area. He had a decent sized house. It was good room for the two of them.
Go back to your statement. You dropped off Kaylee June 9th and walk me through. You dropped her off to go to work?
Mhm.
Okay. Get off of work and go from there.
I got off of work, left Universal, driving back to pick up Kaylee like a normal day, and I show up to the apartment, knock on the door, nobody answers. So I call Zenaida's cell phone and it's out of service. I didn't
Y'all
really
were
want
gonna
to
do
come
it.
home. I wasn't sure what I'd say about
Say
not
what?
knowing where Kaylee was. Still
Talking
hoping
to the
that
game.
I would get a call.
Oh my
or,
God.
You know, find out that Kaylee was coming back so then I could go get her. And I ended up going to my boyfriend Anthony's house, who lives in Sutton
I
Place.
should have restarted my stream before I started.
Did you talk to Anthony about
It'll be
what
another
happened
good
with
YouTube
Kaylee?
video, you
No,
know.
I did not.
I
Why do you
I
restart
can-
the
I can
stream?
edit it.
Anyone about
Why do you
Kaylee?
restart the stream?
I just I restarted
the
so
fact that
like
Outside of
she's missing?
I just go
a
straight
couple
to the
people, a couple mutual
the stream.
friends.
Who did you talk to about it?
I talked to
producer or
Jeff,
video
Oh, so-
producer and I
Jeffrey
just
Hopkins.
transfer
Yeah.
I
it
talked
to
to
YouTube.
Juliette Lewis.
But I can
She's
transfer it
one
to
of my
YouTube and they
coworkers
edit
at
it and
Universal.
cut out parts.
She works. You still work at Universal?
Yes,
What do you do at Universal?
I'm an event coordinator.
Okay. What is Juliet? What position is she? Where she works?
She's also an event coordinator. We work in the same department.
Juliette Lewis doesn't exist. Casey had briefly worked at
She don't exist and what? Bro, they find a whole bunch of stuff and she's
Universal, but hadn't been employed there for over 2 years prior to this interview. And she wasn't an event coordinator. She stood behind a kiosk and sold photos of people after they had been on the Incredible Hulk ride.
You have a number for Juliet?
Offhand, I can't think of one.
Is she in your SIM card?
No, she's not. Some of the more recent numbers, her number just changed because she just moved back up north. She, within the last 2 months, has finished moving up to New York. She's
So-
subleasing her apartment.
So Juliet doesn't work at
Stop.
Universal anymore?
No, she does not.
never did.
What's the
Don't
reason?
ask me.
I asked you this before, and I'll ask you just for the record. What's the reason you didn't call the police before?
I think part of me was naive enough to think that I could handle this myself, which obviously I couldn't.
It's still blowing me how these guys are not taking consider that it was 31 days when she was lost.
Right?
And
Like 31 days my daughter's been lost and now I'm telling you guys I'm pulling up to her house, instant handcuffs in my hand, bro.
I was scared that something would happen to her if I did notify.
Yeah,
the
like
police
I can see if it was like
or got the media involved.
like you reporting a neighbor's kid or some shit, right?
Oh,
Right.
neighbor's kid, yeah. But your
Yeah,
own
but you
daughter,
report
bro.
your own child. Your own child's been gone for 31 days, a whole month of July.
And you said I want to try to solve this myself. Who you think you are, bro?
Just the fear of the unknown. fear of the potential
Shut your
of
ass
Kaylee
up,
getting
man.
hurt, of not seeing my daughter again.
Actually, this
I
is
already
the
hate
opposite
this bitch,
answer
bro.
before we went on tape, and I'll ask you again just to make sure we're
I hate
clear.
her, bro. I hate her, bro.
Is there anything about this story that you're telling me,
You know,
or is there anything that
Hate
you
her,
want to
hate her.
change or divert from what you've already told me?
No, sir.
I would've. Shut your ass up. Come on, man.
Did you cause any injury to your child, Kaylee?
Yes.
No, sir.
Did you hurt
Have.
Kaylee or leave her somewhere, and you're
No.
worried that if we find that out, that people are gonna look at you a wrong way?
No, sir.
And you're telling me that Zenaida took your child without your permission and hasn't
She's
returned her.
the last person that I've seen with my daughter. Yes.
Is she Puerto Rican? Is she Dominican? Is she white?
She's mixed. She's black and
Ooh.
Puerto Rican.
Ooh.
Is there any underlying cause to why Zenaida would have taken your child?
Nothing that,
Did she ever make any statements to you about?
only how much she loves Kaylee and how great of a kid she is.
And when you talked to Jeffrey afterwards, I'm assuming that Jeffrey's child is still with him.
His child is still with him.
You said Zenaida had family up in New England, up in New York, or
Yes,
something?
she has family down south.
Is she
Her
fake
mother, her
Zenaida,
sister,
too?
her brothers in New York. She's
Already gave them
originally
a
from
fake
New York.
name.
Pretty much grew up there, moved down here, went to
Probably all the
University
names
of
she gave
Florida.
up are fake, bro.
Zenaida,
Except for that
the
Jeffrey
nanny,
dude, 'cause we
doesn't
actually seen
exist.
him.
Casey
She
never
don't
had
exist either, bro. Come on, man.
Being the retrospective viewer, we have
Making
Dude,
me
a
all
compulsive
the
liar,
benefit
bro.
of knowing these are outright
Bro, the cap
fabrications,
on this girl
and these
is
meticulous details are a
humongous,
textbook
bro.
sign of a pathological
That
liar.
cap meter
She
going
speaks eloquently
going
and
out of
naturally,
control.
as if her dialogue is a reflex response to the questions she's being
The meter done burst them on, bro. The glass shattered and everything, bro.
asked. When in reality, each of these minor details are calculated and
God.
deliberately placed for the purpose of deception. And the
I was like,
nonchalant,
bro, I kind of
easy
want to see what she look like. Is she black and Puerto Rican? Come on.
going tone she employs is used to camouflage
be
anxiety.
beautiful.
Casey has not only become accustomed to
find out she fake,
manipulation,
bro.
she has become extremely skilled in how to use it effectively. It takes us to the concept of nurture and how it most likely had a significant impact on her current circumstances. If we go through what we know about Casey's domestic history, there are numerous occasions where she had gotten away with things that most would not, simply
an
due to the
average
fact that she
teenager
was
right here,
able to
bro.
continuously lie without conscience. A prime example could be when she was 18 years old and stopped attending class midway through her senior year. She literally skipped the entire second half of her final year to go hang out with her older boyfriend. Her parents became suspicious on several occasions, yet each and every time, Casey had some whimsical excuse to which she would
Like, this is a nice picture, right? But deep, I can like see through her eyes that she crazy.
was given the benefit of the doubt. Then, just days before graduation, her parents were informed by the school of her truancy and that she would not be graduating. When confronted,
Ouch.
Casey's excuse was that her timetable was mixed up by the school, causing her to miss classes through no fault of her own. This is obviously a completely baffling excuse that no sane person would ever believe. Yet, whether it be through denial or an overprotective nature, Casey's parents not only took her at her word, but even shielded her from the consequences of her actions. They lied to all their family friends that she graduated with honors, and even threw her an extravagant graduation party the day after. This is just one of the many occurrences, even through her actions. They lied to not only took her at her word, but even shielded her from the consequences of her actions. They lied to all their family friends that she graduated with honors, and even threw her an extravagant graduation party the day after. This is just one of
This is how we have different lives, bro. Cause if I did something like this, my parents would be joking with everybody. Like, yeah, he ain't graduated. He a bump. You gonna throw a big party too? Yeah, alright.
one of the many
I'll instantly get kicked out the house, bro.
occurrences where
me
Casey
on the
faced
street.
no ramifications for misconduct. It seemed to give her the belief that no matter what she did, as long as she could spin one lie after another, or at least drag a lie out for as long as possible, everything would work
She a real menace to society, bro. That's
itself out.
crazy.
The truth is that everything did work itself out when she was dealing with her parents, and she evidently thought the same rules applied with regard
I'm
to
not really
national
kicked out
law
about this
and a
thing.
missing child's investigation. After the initial statement you just heard, Casey was asked if she could take police to all places of
Telling you,
interest.
Jack,
She
compulsive liar,
happily
bro, for no
obliged,
reason.
and then proceeded to lead them to a multitude
her
of
parents
fake
know about it
addresses
too, bro,
which
so
she had
she a
nothing to
compulsive
do
liar.
with. She then took them to her supposed office at Universal Studios and literally led 3 senior investigators to the very end of the building, taking over 25 minutes to walk to, before she finally turned around, put her hands in her back pockets, laughed, and admitted that she didn't work there. Completely dumbfounded, the detectives placed her under arrest and took her to a conference room in the building for what was essentially an interrogation.
Since I left you this morning, I've gone to every address that you've told me.
If you go to the part where they
talked to all the employees.
they walk through the store or through the job.
Or when they walk through the job, they have like video.
So
No, just the story.
That doesn't look very good for you, because obviously I know and you know that everything you told me is a lie, correct?
Facts.
Not everything that I told you.
Pretty much everything.
Not everything I told you. You already admitted right there that she was lying, bro.
That I don't know where she is.
Sure you do. And here's
absolutely
listen.
do not know where she
Let me explain something. Looking at you, I know that everything that you've told me is a lie. I am very confident, just by having talked to you this short period of time, that you know where she is.
I
Mess with this guy, bro.
not seen my daughter in 5 weeks. I didn't let anything happen.
Show ass up.
Except I trusted her with somebody that had been taking care of her, that had been taking good
Somebody
care
that's
of her.
fake.
Someone that she was comfortable with, that I was comfortable with.
What about Jeff? You said Jeff worked here till about 2 months ago?
No, he hasn't worked here for
Hey, does Jeff even really know her, bro?
10 months? How long?
I'm sorry, I think he was just brought into this shit just cause.
Alright, bro.
He got fired in 2002. He hasn't been an employee here since
Wait, what?
2002.
6 years ago. Okay, he got fired in 2002. He hasn't been employed here. Oh, when did she start working there? 2005?
I think you realize we put together. My question to you is, we're in this office because our purpose in coming here was to do what?
I'm trying to think of places
No,
where I know she's been.
You're not answering my question. Do you want us to help?
Yes,
You want to help us find your daughter?
I do want you to
Well,
help.
good starting point would be to answer the questions, okay? If I say to you, we're here because, and then you just ignore that like I never asked it and go off in some other direction, is that answering the question?
No, suspect.
Let's go through this again. We're here because.
Because I lied, because I brought you up here, and honestly I was reaching for
No, stop
another
right there.
avenue.
I want you to tell me how lying to us is going to help us find your daughter.
It's not going to.
Well, then if the main thing you want to do is find your daughter, and you don't think lying to us is going to help us find her, why would you do that?
Because I'm scared, and I know I'm running out of options. It's been a month.
What are you scared of?
I'm scared of not seeing my daughter ever again.
I'm a parent too. I would have been beside myself.
I have been.
I would have called the police immediately, and that's the part that I just don't understand. Well,
I didn't know
we've got so
what
many
to do.
resources out there that we
That's
could help
immediate,
on day
bro.
one.
You didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, they haven't been gone that long. Maybe I can find them. Maybe I can track them down.
We're not stupid, okay? And what you're doing right now is you're treating us like we're stupid. Everything that's coming out of your mouth is a lie. Everything. Either you gave Kaylee to someone and you don't want anyone to find out because you think you're a bad mom, or something happened to Kaylee and Kaylee's buried somewhere or in a trash can somewhere, and you had something to do with it. Either way, right now, it's not a very pretty picture to be painting. You're painting yourself as a very bad person. It needs to end.
Who
The
knocking on the
truthful
door, bro?
thing
Hey,
is
look.
that I have not seen my daughter. The last time that I saw her was on the 9th of June.
Remember we had those 2 people that we were talking about, the person who had an accident and a person who's just a cold-blooded, callous monster? That's telling me that you are the second person, this cold-blooded, callous monster who doesn't care and doesn't want to help because she's afraid that something so heinous happened that everyone's going to look at her and say, she's a monster, she deserves to go away, she deserves to never see the light of day, this bad thing should happen to her. I don't want to believe that right now, but you're giving me no choice. Tell us what happened to Kaylee. Tell us what happened to Kaylee.
Hey, Devon, bro, I'm kind of liking these videos, bro.
I know they're kind of good to watch the stream.
And that's the last time that I've seen her. I dropped
Where
her
did you
off.
drop her off?
Plus her. Come on now.
At that apartment.
No, you didn't.
That's
She's
exactly
not-
where I dropped her off.
Did you just think
Yeah,
that
whole
one
nut
day
job,
she's just
bro.
going to show up at your house?
No, I sat around yesterday trying to figure out what to do. I'm glad that I ended up seeing my mom, that all of that stuff happened. It happened for a reason because
You're
it was
glad you
past
saw
due.
your mom. You could have saw your mom 5 weeks ago and said, Mom, I don't know
I
what.
saw my mom's reaction right off the bat, and it would have been the same from the get-go.
So wait a minute, you're more afraid of your mom's reaction than you are if you ever see your daughter again?
No, I'm absolutely petrified. Absolutely petrified.
You don't sound petrified. Come on,
I
man.
know my mom will never forgive me.
She
I'm
gotta-
never gonna forgive myself.
It's still booming.
Is it that there's some other thing more important in your life right now that you just weren't really focused on what you were saying?
Oh, you back, bro. I need a drink. Hey, Devon, bro. Devon, I opened my door, right?
Yeah.
Got smacked with instant heat, bro.
Like when I came home last night, got smacked with instant heat,
For
bro.
real? AC wasn't on,
It was
bro?
hotter. It was hotter in the house than it was outside, bro. I'm like, damn, fuck the oven on. Fuck.
Bro, that's funny. We did that in the wintertime when our heater wasn't working, bro. Whole oven and
Open
stove
the
was on, bro.
open the oven. Yes, sir. That should work.
So, yeah.
Have the house nice and toasty.
Accidentally told us you had an office here and we needed to be here, or did you purposely mislead us? Which of those two is it?
I purposely misled.
Okay, so you purposely misled us. This was all in an attempt to help find your daughter, right? That makes sense to you, correct?
In a backward sort of way, yes.
In a backwards
I'm
sort of
coming
way.
back to places that are familiar to me, that I know are familiar to her. Familiar situations that
What did you think?
just maybe
How old is she?
would help. She's almost 3.
She's almost 3. What do you think, she's going to take a cab here? I mean,
I know
how do
she's
you think
not.
she's going to get here?
Because she's with someone else.
She's with someone else who's hid her from you for 5 weeks.
Yes.
Why would a person who has hid your daughter from you for 5 weeks, okay?
Hey, whole time, where the husband at, bro?
She's only 21, Jay.
Huh?
Or 22.
No, where the husband at? The father of the child.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, bro.
Shit, I don't even know.
Bring her to the building that you used to work
How
at.
is he not brought up yet, bro?
I don't know what else to
Right?
do anymore. If I knew
I never
who
thought
she
about
was,
that.
if something
Well, let me
would have
ask you
happened,
this.
I would have admitted that a long time ago.
Like, he could probably give us some answers because they were dating, right? He could be like,
Yeah.
yeah, she fucking crazy, bro. Like,
Thinking up more lies to tell us will help us?
She's with someone that I absolutely do not trust, and that I'm absolutely scared that
That you don't trust yet was babysitting your daughter for a year.
I don't trust her now because of what happened.
Who did you call first? Who did you go to for help first to help try to find her?
nobody.
Oh, no, okay.
Oh my fuck.
All right. Okay.
You can't stand
Well, I'm
it.
glad we got that straightened out.
Casey was then taken to the county jail, where she in the evening
He throwing it back. Ah, damn.
hours was able to make a phone call and just happened to
can't
see her
stand this
mother
girl,
on the
right?
local news moments before speaking to her.
Casey? Mom. Hey, sweetie. Oh, I just saw your nice little cameo on TV.
Why did she bring that up?
Which one? What do you mean, which one? Which one? I did 4 different ones.
Bro, is the mom in it too, bro?
I've only seen 1 or 2
There's no
so
way.
far. You don't know what my
I mean, she kind of
involvement
sounded like.
Casey. Mom. What? No. I don't know what your involvement is, sweetheart. You're not telling me where she's at. Because
Hello?
you know where
What up,
she's
Taylor?
at. Are you
Hey.
kidding me?
Hey, how's it going?
Don't waste your call.
Man, you coughing up them fireworks?
Sitting in the
Hell
jail.
no.
Whose fault is you sitting in the jail? You're blaming me that you're sitting in the jail? Blame yourself for telling lies. You mean it's not your fault? What do you mean it's not your fault, sweetheart? If you'd have told him the truth
Ooh,
and not lied
Terrio.
about everything, they wouldn't. Do me a favor, just tell me what Tony's number is.
What's it
I don't
called?
wanna talk to
Oh,
you right
okay, she there.
I don't have
John,
his
what,
number.
John, what are you
Get
streaming,
from
bro?
Lee because I know Lee's at the house.
Some
Get Tony's number for me.
crazy shit, bro.
Some criminal stories.
It's not your fault.
Oh, the boyfriend was
Where's
in there, bro.
Truth
Wait, that's the boyfriend.
and not lied about everything, they wouldn't. Do me a favor.
Do me a favor, just. But that's the boyfriend. I don't know if that's the father or not.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Where'd that go?
I don't have his
He's probably still
Sleep?
sleeping.
Get it from Lee because I know Lee's at the house.
What the?
He slept at like 1 o'clock.
It wasn't even 1. It was like,
You give me Tony's
Huh?
number.
Oh, he,
It was like
So
3,
he
right?
didn't go-
Maybe 3?
he didn't go to, he
That's
didn't
probably
go
like
to sleep,
3.
huh?
nah.
Well, I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Damn, bro.
I called to talk to my mother and it's f***ing weird.
Weekend.
I'd like to talk to them.
I don't know what.
Hey, Lee's
Wait,
at the
Lee is
house.
the boyfriend?
Get Tony's number for me.
Oh, Casey's brother.
Get it from Tony's number. I don't want to talk to you.
I knew he wasn't gonna stick to that damn promise.
I don't have his number. We'll get it from Lee because I know Lee's at the house. Get Tony's number for me.
Hey,
Hey, can you give me Tony's number?
I can do that. I don't know what real good it's gonna do at this point.
Well, I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Okay.
Because I called to talk to
Yeah,
you.
say what you got? Some scotch on the rocks?
F***ing waste. Oh, by the way,
Some
I don't
what?
want any of you coming
Some
up
scotch
here.
on the rocks?
My first hearing
Hell
for
no.
bond and everything else. Like, don't even waste your time coming up here.
You're making
like that shit.
Bro, why is Casey heated, bro? These are the people that are supposed to help you, you know?
What you doing, Mom?
We're gonna find out. Everything she's telling them is a lie.
If I knew where Kaylee was, do you think any of this would be happening? No.
Anyway, you only got a couple minutes.
Apparently you do, you stupid bitch.
No, I want Tony's number. I'm not talking to anybody else.
Oh, please tell me Tony's the father or something.
Do me a favor, get my brother back because I need
Or
Tony's
just a
number.
boyfriend, bro.
Does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee? No, nothing.
It's the JCS criminal psychology tape.
And I want to actually try to sit and talk to him because I didn't get a chance to talk to him earlier because I got arrested on whim today. I want to talk to him a little bit of Casey. You have to tell me if you know anything about Kaylee. Sweetheart, anything happens with Kaylee, Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die. If anything,
Christina really doesn't know what happened.
you
She's
have to
crying,
tell
bro.
me if you know anything about Kaylee. Sweetheart, anything happens with Kaylee, Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die.
Yeah, Christina really loves her, bro.
Oh my god, calling you guys? Waste. Huge
Oh my god. Yeah, bro, she crazy.
waste.
Casey appeared in the court the next morning and was initially denied bail by the judge. He cited his
John, who
reason
you
as her
interacting with?
undeniable disregard for the welfare of her own child. She was kept
Bro, you finna get this mute button, bro.
in protective custody, and
So
it
who
would
are
be
you
9
interacting
days
with?
until she received
Nobody,
her first
myself,
visit
bro.
from her parents.
I'm thinking my reaction, I'm exploiting it IRL. I'm not keeping it in my head. Is that her parents?
My bad, bro. Hey, John, mute me, bro.
It's gonna be a YouTube video, bro.
I'm about to cuss.
I got it, bro. Did I mute him for everybody?
We forgive anything that
No, I
you've
just-
said or done.
Hold on. Can we turn the volume down? Yeah, you can probably hear it. My head's gonna explode. What's that T-shirt? I didn't get a chance to ask him. Other things
Kaylee's
besides.
picture's on the back.
Is it? Can Dad
Yes.
show me the shirt?
Yeah, turn around so she can see. It's the Never Lose Hope Foundation. Do you see it?
I can see
Your
part of it.
picture?
Yeah.
Have you seen me? And then it has the information on how to contact.
Okay.
Casey, you don't realize the whole United States is looking for our Kaylee.
I know that, Mom.
Her cover's going to be on People magazine in a few days.
Okay.
With a readership of over 46 million adults in America, having your missing child on the front cover of People magazine would seem as a godsend to most. Yet Casey's response is almost as if it's a lost cause.
Everybody is looking for her.
Good.
Everybody is looking for her.
She distressed,
Are
bro.
we going to be able to find her, do you think?
I hope we can, Mom. Now, I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to ask Lee.
Can you look up a little bit more? Raise your eyes up a little bit. There you
I
go.
wanna
So
actually-
now
Why is she wide-eyeing it,
look
bro?
straight up so I can look into your
Why is she
eyes.
kind of smiling, bro?
I know,
Yeah.
you know
bro.
I need to do that. It's okay to cry, Casey.
A little bit.
It's all right, love.
That's where you had some shits, bro. Them misses was spinning. Them misses
Setting
was
aside
flying everywhere,
morality
bro.
and ethics for
Hit the
just a
neighbor's
moment,
car, bro.
Casey at this point would be emotionally exhausted. She had been sitting in an isolated jail cell for almost 2 weeks as the entire world was turning against her. Anyone in her position, guilty or otherwise, would be at near breaking point, and her composed
Me.
exterior now finally slips. She,
what they
for a
don't
brief
know, Arnold.
moment, allows herself to be vulnerable, and for perhaps the first time, expresses the pain of her situation. This is one of the few moments where Casey's true self is on display. Of itself, it's a touching moment between a mother and daughter. Yet if we add in the context of the surrounding elements, she is only expressing this pain for herself. Just a moment ago, when she saw her deceased daughter's face on her father's shirt, none of this emotion came out.
Casey, I want to ask you just a couple questions.
Good.
The rest of the visit is extremely bizarre. Casey's parents try to extract any information they can about Kaylee's possible whereabouts, and each time are essentially dismissed by Casey as if they're asking pointless and irritating questions.
Do we have any pictures of Sandy's apartment?
Lee and I already talked about this. I don't
Okay,
know. It could
alright.
be on the disc at home. I don't know.
What is your? I can't get into your.
I gave Lee everything already. I gave
Alright.
Lee all of the passwords, everything we could possibly
I
think
wanna
of
get-
all over again.
I want to get some video clips off Kaylee because the video clip with Grandpa is really helping people. Still pictures don't show
No, they
her
don't show her
justice.
personality.
right. And we need to show her personality, so I need to make sure we get that password.
Yeah. I gave Lee the password.
Please look up, sweetheart. I need to see your eyes.
I want to be able to look at you guys too. I can't look at you and look at the camera.
Well, you don't have to look at the camera. Look at me.
I'm looking at you.
Okay.
You're sitting very low.
I know.
The exchange switches back and forth from inquisitive and challenging to sympathetic and loving, and every time her parents stop inquiring over the case and show that they still care about Casey herself is when the tears come out.
Do you want to speak to your father now?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, gorgeous, how you doing?
I look like hell.
Well, you know something? You really need to keep your spirit high for all this.
I haven't been crying while I've been in here.
Well, you know
trying
something?
to read books and do other things to keep my mind off of stuff.
Well, you know, I want to be able to reach out and hug you and
Yeah.
give you the big
I
Papa
think
Joe
so.
hug.
Shit, I can hear you.
But you know, we got to get that little girl back any way we can, and we're
Dad,
doing
that's
everything we can.
my only concern. I gave Lee a statement. I want him to speak to whoever in the media, give them a statement specifically from me. He's going to give them an exact quote.
Every time Casey's parents mention that people are willing to help with a search, Casey dismisses their credibility and even attacks some of their characters while she's at it.
Tara?
Tara from Michigan.
Hold on, say.
Mark's psycho
Go ahead.
ex-wife, Tara.
Yes.
Listen. People like Tara, people like Jesse who are maybe trying to help, even Christina, God bless her, don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I want you to know, I want to take your pain away from you. So,
You're
you
dumb.
tell me anything. I miss you, sweetie.
Oh shit. He'll do it, huh?
Why'd that girl Christina cry more than the old mother?
I wish I could have been a better dad and better grandpa, you know?
You've been a great dad and you've been the best grandfather. Don't for a second think otherwise.
Well, you know,
you and Mom have been the best grandparents. Kaylee's been so lucky.
See, she's saying Ben, bro, Ben. Why is she saying is? It's the word choices that she's choosing, bro.
Kaylee is so lucky to have both of you. I can't even put into words how glad I am that she's had both of you. And that she still has both of you.
You know, it goes without saying, you know, that our house is empty without both of you there. It's empty. All the little things we took for granted, we miss them so much.
That's exactly how I feel.
All your little things and all her little things, it hurts. We're not there. Mom and I are just going through the motions, you know?
I ate coleslaw today. Tell him I ate coleslaw.
Well, you're probably eating a lot of things you never used to eat before because when you're hungry, you'll eat.
I hated bologna. I've been eating bologna and cheese on occasion. Grits.
Ugh.
I don't do grits at all. It's terrible.
Well, you know what? You're going to eat what's in front of you.
We get another glimpse at Casey's skill in fabricating information and her ability to intertwine specific details to afford her lies some credibility. These minor intricacies are what would make her extremely convincing if we didn't happen to know otherwise.
They never searched by her full name. They searched by Zenaida Fernandez, where Zenaida Gonzalez, never by her full name.
And it's Z-E-N.
Z-E-N-A-I-D-A. I don't think she...
Why would an officer not search by the full name?
She has a middle name. There was never a middle name on anything that I remember seeing. And I know she went by both last names. She always
These
had.
officers really didn't use the full Zayeda name, bro. Alright.
Since she was younger, since her mom remarried.
So Flores Gonzalez, and you don't know what her stepdad.
Fernandez Gonzalez.
But you don't know what Fernandez Gonzalez.
I think her dad's first name is Victor. Her stepdad, or that could be her real dad, but I remember her saying Victor. Victor and Gloria were her parents.
Victor and Gloria are her parents, but they're separated or divorced.
They are as of now, yeah. That was her stepdad.
Divorced.
But I know she has a lot of money. That's where she got the car from.
Bro,
I only get one or two.
her Her wang is impeccable,
calls a
bro.
day that, you know, that are not nice.
You see it, bro?
It's coming off the top of her head, bro.
Bro, she's a fucking freak, bro.
That just believe in you. They believe in us finding Kaylee.
I can't even think that fast, bro.
Okay, so keep your head up high. But if you think of anything that could help,
Like, bro, I'm trying to think of a name right now, bro. That shit gonna sound weak, bro. Only names are popping up like Hernando, Albert.
don't be afraid.
Weak ass names. She got some clean names like Zaida.
You have to keep things positive feelings, Casey.
Oh, I know, I have been. I've been staying as positive as I can.
She's coming up with stories like, oh yeah, they're divorced now. They can have different last names. Bro,
There's a possibility.
What's your gut telling you right now? You have the same.
bro, she said she'd be reading in her jail cell, right? She reading that How to Get Away with Murder, bro. That's crazy.
That she's okay.
Okay, and your gut tells you that she's close or she's hiding.
She's not far. I know in my heart she's not far. I can feel it.
This was perhaps the first time Casey told the truth when speaking of her daughter's whereabouts, as she indeed wasn't that far away.
She's not far. I know in my heart she's not far. I can feel it.
This was perhaps the first time Casey told the truth when speaking of her daughter's whereabouts, as she indeed wasn't that far away. Her attorney, Jose Baez, eventually managed to get her bail, and Casey was fitted with an electronic monitoring device and released on August 21st. She had spent just over 1 month in custody. 2 months later, police were granted permission to arrest Casey on the charge of first-degree murder. She was taken in for interrogation, but immediately requested her right to counsel. She was kept in the interview room while awaiting her attorney, and the released footage of that period is so bizarre to the point where it's almost comical. The detectives give off a passive yet glaringly obvious vibe that lets Casey know exactly what they think, being that she is guilty of her daughter's probable death and a fundamentally terrible human being on every imaginable level. Casey's response to this is to essentially ignore it and act as if the discourse between them and the situation itself is an everyday occurrence, one that perhaps doesn't concern the disappearance of her daughter, for which she is being charged for. You'll notice that she effortlessly maintains the same confident and talkative disposition that she had in her previous interviews with police. It's almost surreal to watch given the circumstance, and the visual element adds an entire new level to the absurdity. The first segment of footage shows the arresting officer waiting with Casey for the lead investigator to arrive. He initiates the conversation by bringing up the subject of Casey's parents. He asserts that he's worried about them.
Hey, take what them circle joints do?
Across is that he essentially knows Casey is guilty and that she isn't
all them
killing
shits explode.
It's an indirect yet obvious accusation.
I was afraid that some of what I said to them probably offended them because I told them that if I find out something that you don't want to hear, I'm going to tell you
Well, honestly, we'll respect that. That's just, you know, the type of people that they are in the same way.
I know they are.
Jai funny as hell, bro.
Your family off. You know, I'm not in it.
Hit the fireworks on the monitor, bro.
Oh yeah, bro.
I get zero.
Who said that? Tay said something, or you just seen it?
I just seen it.
Exactly. You have a job you're trying to do.
I found a few, and I've found a few, and it sucks. I'm not in it to get a conviction. I get nothing out of it. I get zero.
Exactly.
Listen to her, Jai. Listen to her.
I found a few, and I've found a few, and it sucks both ways.
Yeah, I agree.
So it is what it is. Where I get sideways with people.
She continuously provides these sharp interjections to appear as though she's following what the detectives are saying. People will often do this to express...
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I do that a lot. That when people are talking to me, like at the restaurant or when I'm talking to my family, bro, I be hitting them with that, bro.
Concurrence and understanding. It essentially lets the other person know that you understand them, either intellectually or emotionally, that a point they made makes sense to you, or that you get why they feel a certain way about something. The only problem here is that Casey's verbal reciprocation at times makes no sense whatsoever. What's fascinating is that this would go unnoticed in an everyday setting. When recorded on film, however, and able to be studied and scrutinized, it becomes far more distinctive.
Where I get sideways with people tends to be when attorneys get involved.
I've heard most people say that. They don't like attorneys very much.
I have many family members that are attorneys. I have no problems with attorneys. What I have problems with are, at some point, we have to set aside the rules and we have to find kids. And you know what? So be it. That's why I told you in the car. You know, if you tell me anything now, I'll get up and say, yep, I heard it, and she'd already invoked it. We can't use any of it. That's just the way it is. That's all that matters to me.
The detective here has essentially just asked Casey for the information he knows she has about her missing child. Rather than retaliate and refute the blatant accusation, Casey continues with her sharp responses of accordance, as if to say she agrees and knows exactly where the detective is coming from. Yet although she apparently agrees, she offers no information or follow-up dialogue thereafter. It's so incredibly awkward, yet equally intriguing to watch.
And, you know, when we did another case that I was involved in, you know, they lost a confession. And I sat there and I looked right at the guys that we worked with. I said,
that's not what's important.
Who cares?
Yeah.
We found her. We found her, and he's going to get what is coming to him. That's not my job. You know, and it works out in the end. And it works out in the end on all sides, to be honest with you. It may not be comfortable for everybody.
Yeah.
And I've done things that if I get caught for, I'm not going to be comfortable, I can tell you that. It's just the way life is. You know, but it's not the end of the road either. And that's what we have to keep in mind. It's not the end of the road.
Why she just stare at the camera, though?
Casey then
This motherfucker
casually
Chris
brings
guilty
up
as shit,
the topic
huh?
of the grand jury and the media surrounding the
Watts?
murder trial. She
Yeah,
raises
bro.
He mad guilty, bro.
He did that shit.
Yeah, bro. He most definitely did, bro.
Like all three?
All three, bro.
Like all his whole story is just a complete lie?
Yeah, bro. He was like, he blamed the wife for killing the daughters and then pretended like she committed suicide because she didn't want anybody to find out and everything. Whole time, bro, he brutally murdered the wife and the daughters.
This is the question
And
that
the
she's
daughters.
talking about her favorite daytime TV
This ain't Chris
show.
Benoit?
But it's the Sophia.
This ain't Chris Benoit?
It kind of looked like him.
His name is Chris Watts, bro.
Who, that dude right here that's talking to her?
No, not that guy.
Oh.
It's
Guy
just the way
kind of
that
looked like him.
Yeah, certain
grand
things
jury
are-
subpoena.
Bro, when they're like zooming through the videos, she keeps staring at the camera, bro. She like flicks her head up, looks at the camera, and then
That's public
Public
record.
knowledge,
yeah.
It doesn't say what it's for. It doesn't say what case it's in. It doesn't. It just says you're subpoenaed to appear before the grand jury.
Well, with them announcing that, you know, there was going to be a grand jury, and obviously my name was thrown out, they knew who the grand jury was for.
Who threw your name out?
All of the media said that it was from an inside source, meaning in here. So that's where they all say is.
I can tell you
getting
what I
the
think
sources
of the
from.
media and what I think of people who leak stuff to the media.
I think it's garbage. Yeah,
But
I agree. That's the
that
next way of
doesn't
putting
that
it.
doesn't make it any less necessary. Without them,
She's so accustomed to giving these ungenuine responses at every given opportunity that she doesn't even know where to place them correctly. This response should have been given 2 seconds earlier when the detective finished his declamation, not when he started a new sentence. 2 seconds that she's
that doesn't make it any less necessary.
That's what I'm watching right now with Valkyrie.
Without them,
She's so accustomed to giving these ungenuine responses at every given
Valkyrie on
opportunity that she doesn't even know where to place them correctly. This response should have been given 2 seconds earlier when the detective finished his declamation, not when he started a new sentence. It's so incredibly aggravating to watch.
Right? Like,
I'll be
you
quite
just like,
honest
yeah,
about the media.
fuck it.
We don't find a quarter of the kids that we.
Oh, I agree. It helps. The exposure has helped bring in so many tips for my daughter.
But at the same time,
Or that, and they didn't lie about it, bro. Like, what you want to see how long you can get away with it for?
the tips are what the tips are. If it was a local media only, it would be much easier to work.
Yeah,
When you make it the national media, then you come up
You
with...
get the Nancy Graces.
Well, you get the tips.
Hey, you
also.
got work in the morning, don't you?
That say, I saw Kaylee. Oh, really?
Hey, fuck it.
Okay.
Good little time in, bro.
Let me send them out.
Come on, Tay, bro. Just a little time, bro.
The local
It's in
stations
close
are going to
range.
cover that.
Yeah.
That's contiguous to the state of Florida. That's not...
When people are only getting their information from the Nancy Grace.
Shit, you gonna be back in that bitch next weekend, huh?
People or, stuff like that. Are you kidding me?
You're not gonna break bad, right? Alright. We're gonna call him on my cell phone.
Okay. I know this is, oh, yep, that's not good.
Pull it back there. Just slide your hand out. No, I'll go get a
I
key that fits.
honestly can't. So they're a little tight.
Thanks for entertaining us. Just slide your
Way to
hand
go,
out.
Corporal Edwards.
Is my man's falling for her, bro? There's no way, bro.
Actually, if I could, I would have done that.
Ain't no way, bro.
Do you know Baez's phone number off the top of your head?
No, I do not.
Mm-hmm.
How can we get the cell number? Or his number?
I know his office number.
What is that?
407.
I've identified myself. You know why you're in custody.
Yes.
And you signed this. You want your attorney present.
Yes. Hey, it's Casey. I'm with Corporal Edwards. I know the last name, sorry. I'm at the Sheriff's Department if you'd like to come down and meet with us. Thank you. Yes. And to answer your other question, from that picture, I cut my hair. It was really short even last year. I just started growing it back out this year, so. Guessed about that.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
It has been.
How was my dad this morning?
In our time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I only saw from the media and got a chance to hear him talking to my mom. I spoke to him last night and this morning for just a quick second before he left, so.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning for a little bit. He was with Mark, and he was really struggling. I mean, I can imagine he was having a hard time. He was being called in to essentially provide testimony to indict you, or to at least, and he was really struggling with that.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for him, to be honest with you. I truly did.
Well, I even told him last night. I know he was subpoenaed, and under the law, he had to answer whatever questions were asked him, and I told him
She
to
said
do
what?
he had to do.
Imagine you were Casey, but void of any wrongdoing whatsoever. Your daughter was kidnapped 5 weeks ago.
Say what?
And now a detective who
Oh, no, I
thinks you're
didn't
the
say that.
culprit is relaying the agonizing moments of your father providing information for your arrest.
What's the dance
No matter
joint?
how stoic or self-controlled your nature, you would most likely be in tears or completely enraged at the overwhelming unjustness of the situation.
You anxious about today at all?
I have been. I mean, this is something, honestly, we've been preparing for from the beginning just because of words that were directly spoken from Yuri Melich and also from Sergeant Allen. They were saying that this is what they were planning on doing from the very beginning, from that first day. So they wrote me off within the first couple hours. That was the only time they ever made any effort to try to talk to me one-on-one. And
No, it was kind of difficult.
that was kind of difficult considering.
Well, considering, obviously, in light of everything that's going on and the fact that you've been arrested for other things, makes it a little more difficult to sit down and even talk to you.
Mhm.
It's not that we haven't wanted to.
Yeah. But I do have counsel, and that's something that, my attorney's always been a phone call away.
Has your attorney ever told you that we would like to speak to you?
And we had agreed, him and I together, that we would all sit down together, him and I, and you guys, and, we'd entertain whatever questions you have, and
There is no possible way that a defense attorney would actually sit down and, as Casey states, entertain any question the police have for them. Yet if we weren't paying close attention, we would take her at her word due to the eloquence of her dialogue and not realize everything she's saying is complete nonsense.
I actually thought that we made it pretty clear that, we wanted to talk to you. I mean, obviously, we can't come to you and ask you.
Yeah, understandably.
I thought that you were aware that if you wanted to talk to anybody,
What?
that all you got to do is simply ask.
What?
Well, I know it goes both ways on that, and I guess it would have needed to come from me. I should have been the one to, come forward with it. But, we did open up that door to law enforcement before, when Sergeant Allen was making a big deal saying, well, we want to talk to her. When can we talk to her? And he's saying, well, the door's open.
I don't believe he ever told us the door was open.
What's fascinating is how instinctive and confident her assertions are. In any other circumstance, or even without the knowledge we have now, you would have no reason not to believe everything she's saying.
I've heard the words come out of his mouth, even myself, directed to other people that maybe didn't either relay the message or took it a different way, so I don't know. I think the lack of communication has put people in opposite corners when everybody has the same goal, is to find Kaylee. We all still feel, I as a mom, I know in my gut, there's the feeling as a parent, you know certain things about your child, you can feel that connection, and I still have that feeling, that presence. I know that she's alive. Whether you have a bucket load of evidence downstairs that contradicts that and says otherwise, or all you have is speculation, or nothing at all. I mean,
we had more than speculation.
As every tip and
that's
every
something
lead
that I told
followed
Jose
up on.
directly.
Yeah.
That we have more than speculation. We have a lot, or else we wouldn't be to this point. A lot.
This was essentially a direct confrontation. The detective has just told Casey they have sufficient evidence to prove her guilt. Casey doesn't refute or even respond to the accusation. She instead falls back to her ridiculous dialogue once again, hoping the confidence in her voice will mask the absurdity of what she's actually saying.
Well, I said the same thing to them, that, they said that we're at the end of a hallway, and I'm thinking we're at the end of a hallway and there's two doors. Which door are we going to go through? Or I guess this is, we're at this point, and
we are at this point.
The final step is which door is walked through.
We are well beyond where we were before. I mean, those issues are gone, okay? And when we refer to we're at the end of the hallway, I think you are well aware of what hallway we're talking about. Do you understand that?
Well, so there's no question, I guess. You can specify that at this point, or what your perspective is on that.
You have a second?
Absolutely.
Can we come right back?
Yeah, that's fine.
You plan on running off?
I'm not going anywhere.
I gotta stretch out a little bit. I'm not as young as I used to be.
It's unfortunate that right when the pressure was starting to build, the second detective interrupts the exchange and they both leave the room soon after. Casey waits alone for roughly 40 minutes before her attorney shows up.
He's gonna ask you a question. You don't say anything else other than the answer. Okay?
Casey, based on our conversation today, and I read you that form, basically just same thing I said to Mr. Baez over the phone. If there's been numerous requests for opportunities to speak with us and come to a resolution here. And that's why we brought you here instead of the jail. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, based on your request for us to call him and bring him here, he's here. So what we're going to try to do is give you a few minutes somewhere that's not recorded. No secrets, I told you. This room's recorded. I have to be able to approach my chain and explain why.
The detective now guilefully takes Casey up on her previous offer, where she insisted they were willing to sit down with police and answer questions.
But first, I needed you to tell him, in your own words, if you will, that you'd like to take the opportunity to deal with us like you've made that request in the past. So, is that something you want to tell him?
I told him the same thing we talked about before, that we would entertain any questions that they have. We would listen and discuss it, and if we have something to respond, we'll respond.
Okay, do you want to speak to me in private?
Yes.
So we can clarify this?
Yes.
It would come as no surprise that no conference was to be had. Casey was instead taken to the county jail, where she would remain for 2.5 years awaiting trial. Once this footage was released to the public domain, the consensus was that Casey at best was a cold-hearted mother, and at worst, a hideous, despicable murderer. But what's curious is that although these opinions may be accurate, they came from a completely misguided notion, being that her behavior in the footage was entirely genuine. Casey was in all likelihood being completely fake this entire time. So you might be curious as to why a person would actually fake such a poised temperament, when it would be far more fitting to fake sadness and despair. We all have aspects to ourselves that are ungenuine to a certain degree. How we act at a business dinner won't be the way we are at home with our close friends or family. The more comfortable the setting, the more we can be ourselves. Those educated on Casey's past would assert that she was rarely sad, rarely angry, but always this bubbly and agreeable personality, even when it didn't suit the situation. She was one of those people where something just seemed off, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. The evidence put forward suggests that Casey was fake in every single setting and with every single person all of the time, a trait that might go unnoticed in everyday life, yet would clearly stand out when shown under the microscope of a criminal case study. Casey had become so accustomed to this fraudulent way of being that it even came as a natural behavior to her in the extraordinary setting we see here. And the assertion is that because Casey knew just how well she could fabricate this character, she thought she could use it to mask her anxiety, and thus conceal guilty behavior. Casey, in all likelihood, had little to no regard for her daughter. That's not even an argument anymore. But her true temperament here would likely be far more apprehensive due to the concern over her own welfare. Every time the detective insinuated an accusation, Casey kept the same tone, same demeanor, and same confident, lighthearted disposition. If you took her out of this interrogative setting and placed her in the mall with her friends, it would seem completely normal. She would be faking her personality in both environments, yet we are only able to realize it in one. This type of mindset is linked to sociopathy. Whatever the situation or circumstance, they need to have an advantage over you. So how do they do this? They lie, and also calculate how they are going to feel and react to a certain situation before it occurs. The entirety of her focus was on making herself look good rather than being worried about the actual quality of her character. Casey, in a nutshell, was an inauthentic person, long before she ever gave birth to her ill-fated daughter. And her skill at deception alongside her manufactured personality is arguably the most terrifying part of this entire case. On December 11th, 2008, just under 5 months since she was reported missing, Kaylee's skeletal remains were discovered in a swamp less than a mile away from the Anthony household. She was wrapped in a Winnie the Pooh blanket and then placed in a canvas laundry bag. Duct tape was discovered around the nose and mouth area of the skull, and her death was ruled a homicide. Prosecutors in the case then announced they would be seeking the death penalty. There were a multitude of discoveries made in the lead-up to the trial, and many believed it to be an open and shut case due to the damnatory nature of the evidence. On the last day Kaylee was seen alive by anyone other than her mother, and the day many believed she was murdered, Casey Anthony made the following internet searches. At 7:54 p.m. that same evening, Casey and her boyfriend Tony were seen in a Blockbuster video store. Kaylee was nowhere in sight, and many presume she was already dead and decomposing in Casey's trunk at this point. In the following weeks, Casey went out partying most nights. Just 3 days after her daughter's supposed abduction, she was captured in various photos participating in a hot body contest. 12 days after, she got a tattoo on her back saying Bella Vita, an Italian motto that translates beautiful life. She also made an entry in her diary around the same time which read, "I completely trust my own judgment, and I knew that I made the right decision. This is the happiest that I have been in a very long time. I hope that my happiness will continue to grow." The trial commenced on May 24, 2011. The gist of the prosecution's argument was that Casey suffocated her daughter with duct tape and then placed her in the trunk for a few days before disposing of her body in the swamp. The motive for the murder was the primary focus during their opening statement.
This isn't just a case about Casey Marie Anthony. It's a story about Kaylee Anthony as well. Kaylee Anthony was born on August 9th of 2005. It was a Tuesday. And Kaylee lived nearly every day of her life on a quiet residential street in Orlando called Hope Spring Drive. Casey Anthony, Kaylee's mother, appeared to all outward observers to be what her parents thought she was. A loving mother working hard to provide support for her daughter. But as the evidence in this case and the investigation into the background of Casey Anthony will show, that was an illusion. On Monday, June 16th, Cindy Anthony goes to work, as I've described, sometime between 7 and 8 a.m., and is out of the house until late evening. George Anthony specifically recalls that at 12:50 p.m. on June 16th of 2008, his daughter, Casey, left the residence on Hope Spring Drive with Kaylee Marie Anthony. Kaylee was wearing a pink shirt, jean shorts, sunglasses, and a backpack. And George Anthony, kissed his granddaughter goodbye and never saw her again. In fact, no one but Casey Anthony ever saw Kaylee Marie Anthony alive again. The evidence in this case will establish that there is no other reason for the placement of multiple pieces of duct tape on this child's face, mouth, and nose other than the specific intent to end that child's life. No one but Casey Anthony had access to all the pieces of evidence in this case. The duct tape, the laundry bag, the blanket, the shorts, the shirt, the car. No one else lied to their friends.
Bro, the way she's not like responding to anything, bro. I mean, I know she can't, but the way she's like moving, she did it, bro.
To their family, to investigators. No one else benefited
her body
from
language.
The death of Kaylee Marie Anthony.
Her demeanor, bro.
Kaylee's death allowed Casey Anthony to live the good life, at least for those 31 days.
Although there was a lack of direct physical evidence tying the defendant to her daughter's death, the evidence the state actually had still seemed overwhelming, and they understandably thought relying on the facts alone would easily secure a conviction. The defense, on the other hand, were up against it. So not only did they use charm and appeal to sway the jury's attention away from the evidence, they dropped an absolute bombshell in their opening statements to create as much doubt as humanly possible.
On behalf of the defense, I want to thank you for the sacrifice that you've made in your jury service and coming here and helping us see justice. We know it's no easy task, and we intend, I'm sure both sides, on getting you home as quickly as possible once you have all of the information that you need. Everyone wants to know what happened. How in the world can a mother wait 30 days before ever reporting her child missing? It's insane. It's bizarre. Something's just not right about that. Well, the answer is actually relatively simple. She never was missing. Kaylee Anthony died on June 16, 2008, when she drowned in her family's swimming pool. Well, the reason we're all here is because not of the commonality of this tragedy, but of the uniqueness of the family that it happened to. You will hear about ugly things, secret things, things that people don't speak about, things that Casey never spoke about. On June 16, 2008, after Kaylee died, Casey did what she's been doing all her life, or for most of it, hiding her pain, going into that dark corner and pretending that she does not live in the situation that she's living in. This family must keep its secrets quiet.
Do you know how hard it is to hide that type of feeling of losing your daughter? And then 2 days later, go to a party and start going crazy? Like, come on, man. I know you're a lawyer and everything, bro, but you're not going through me, bro.
And it all
Not
began.
at all, bro.
Listen, bro, he's a great lawyer, John.
Casey was 8 years old, and her father.
Nah, bro, but come on. They have proof that she was partying, bro, going out, having a good old time. Your daughter just died like 2 days ago, bro, in the pool. You gonna wrap her in duct tape? And then still, you're not gonna give her a proper burial either?
Father came into her room
Are you not gonna tell her grandparents?
This
Nothing.
child,
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell the mom, dad.
who at 8 years old, learned to lie immediately. She could be 13 years old, have her father's penis in her mouth, and then go to school and play with the other kids as if nothing ever happened. That will help you understand why no one knew that her child was dead.
The trial.
Hey, hold up. So she drowned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck did she put duct tape around the nose and mouth? What was the purpose for that?
What was the purpose of the whatchamacallit?
The what?
The search history.
That too, right? Suffocation. Alright, bro. You just suffocate her with duct tape, bro. And threw her into the forest or a river. Like she
The swamp.
Swamp. She drowned, bro. She's saying she drowned in a pool. So she
Fuck, she was found in the
then
swamp.
then she gonna say she wraps all she could do is wrap her nose and mouth with duct tape. Like, come on, man. You not fooling me with that.
Would go on
She fooling their ass.
the last 6 weeks, with the prosecution exposing the truly dark and deceptive nature of Casey's character. While the state relied on fact, the defense clung on to theory and proposed every conspiracy under the sun
I already broke through it, bro. Conspiracy for what?
in the hope they would create
Everything
enough
not adding
skepticism and
up.
confusion. One of the more noted details of the
Everything.
trial was the courtroom presence of Jose Baez. He had an exceptional ability of narrative control and storytelling, and his capacity to create a connection with a jury seemed far more adequate than that of the state. This was
She ain't drowned, bro.
recognized and mentioned multiple times in the media, yet the overwhelming majority of those following the case were almost certain that it wouldn't be enough to save the defendant.
Hey, this lawyer just wants that bag, bro.
Closing arguments were put forward on Sunday,
That's
the
all you
3rd
can
of
come
July.
up with.
When you have a child, that child.
Yeah, I'm telling you all. That's what I was saying. All lawyers are in it for the money.
Life. This case is about the clash between that responsibility and the expectations that go with it.
And the only lawyer that got my respect, bro, my man Ted Bundy, bro.
Ted Bundy?
Yeah, bro. That man clean, bro. I mean, not like that, but he's still a murderer. But he gonna defend himself too, bro?
And the
He
life
ain't giving up no bread. That's
that
crazy.
Casey Anthony wanted to have. Casey meets Tony.
He get away with it,
Tony,
Jay.
He ain't getting away with it though, but he was close. He was close. But he wanna bite women's ass cheeks, bro, and take chunks out, bro. Crazy.
has this life.
Bro, is Tony like the father of his daughter, or is just a boyfriend?
He's
I
free.
think that's just a boyfriend.
He's a club
Where's
promoter.
the father, man?
He had to be dead or some
Out there
shit, bro.
at night with the loud music and
How
dancing,
come nobody like brought him up? That's the thing.
and it's a great free life. So she has a choice. A life tethered to a child, or a life free to be 22. And as hard as it is for anyone to imagine, she had to choose between sacrificing two things. The first
What?
was her dreams and the life she wanted. And the second,
Say what you talking about, bro. What I delete?
Well, sir,
we
bro.
submit to you the evidence in this case shows that
Somebody
the choice she
did?
made was her child.
Here we are at the
Oh,
end of our
what's her
journey.
name?
And
I didn't delete shit. She deleted it.
See if I
I
can
have
break
to
down
tell
what
you
this
that
do
I
from this.
probably think you have more questions than you have answers. And
I got a few
if you
questions.
recall, at opening statements, the final thing that I told you, at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, the one question will never be answered. The key question in this case
What's the key question?
will never be answered.
Let me know what the question is.
It can never be proven.
What you mean? We don't know the
And
question.
that is, how did Kaylee die? I'm going to start with my biggest
I already know, bro.
fear. I'm going to tell you right up front.
She ain't drowned, bro. She grabbed the duck. She suffocated her some way, bro. Probably in a pillow, something like that. Or she probably suffocated with the duct tape for real, and kept it on there.
It was the duct tape. Listen, guys, it's the duct tape, right?
Yeah.
The daughter didn't drown at all, bro.
She ain't drowned, bro.
Not at all.
Bro,
It was
I
the
bet
duct
you
tape.
she ain't even got to pull at the back of her house, bro.
It was the duct tape, right?
Yeah.
And she put her in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
And her mom, dumb ass, dead ass, forgot she was in the back of that car, bro.
He said what?
The mom, what's her name? Casey?
Yeah.
She dead ass. She suffocated her on purpose, bro. But she forgot she was in the back of the car.
Oh, she forgot.
That's why that's why the smell came up.
Oh.
And then she was like, "Oh shit!" Then she had to get rid of it. She had to get rid of it
Quick,
right there. Yeah.
How you forget, bro? How you gonna kill your daughter by suffocation, and then forget she in the trunk, bro?
That's why she was out partying, bro.
I fear.
Oh yeah, for the 3 days, right? She was drunk as
May
hell, having
happen in
hangovers.
this case. And I want to talk to you about it.
What does this man gotta say, bro?
May happen in this case.
I wasn't really feeling the first thing he was saying.
I want to talk to you about it and explain.
Wasn't feeling anything he was saying.
This case deals with so much emotion. I know
Ain't
that
no
there
emotion,
were
bro.
times
She a crazy
where
bitch.
every single person in here felt something
Yeah.
deep down inside. Your rules of
You know why
deliberation.
he won that though?
Why?
Because his argument is valid, bro.
What the law is
What argument, bro? The first part I already broke it down, bro.
that this case must not be
His argument is that they don't have any evidence.
decided for or against anyone.
And Jai, it's pretty valid, bro.
Because you feel sorry
Where's her
for
proof,
anyone
though, bro? Come on, man.
or are angry at anyone.
You'll notice that Mr. Baez
That's all they
walks
needed.
Said she drowned though, bro, and then
the jury.
It's just the duct tape placement for me, bro. Like, come on, man.
Right, bro.
Focus on.
Why is it the nose and mouth specifically, bro? Like, why don't you put like a bag over the head, then duct tape around the neck?
Matter of fact, there is evidence, bro.
Huh?
There is evidence.
What's the evidence? That right?
Did you see the part where it shows her and the boyfriend at the store without
Yeah.
her?
I mean, I couldn't really see. It was kind of blurry, bro. I couldn't see shit.
I mean, but the guy said that she wasn't in there in the picture.
On this, while subtly concealing this, he presents the argument that the prosecution.
This case must not be decided for against anyone because you feel sorry for anyone or angry at anyone.
Prosecution has purposely got the jury emotionally invested in the case in the hope to push them towards a guilty verdict. Yet in this exact same
Sussy
statement,
baka.
he himself is getting them emotionally invested for the exact opposite reason. While refuting the prosecution's supposed attempt to entice anger, he subtly attempts to
Well, like after making this video, bro, anybody not like
both empathy.
Nothing
Say
changed,
what
bro.
you want about
Nothing
this
changed.
attorney
Jai.
and the ethics of his conduct, but what you are about to witness
Jai,
is
the little
expertly done,
circle, bro?
and what many believe to be what saved Casey Anthony's
The little circle
life.
on your joint.
Because obviously we
That joint
want
clean,
you to
bro.
base your
Clean, bro.
verdict on the
It's
evidence.
like Coors, but you got the
not
green
on
screen.
emotion.
Yeah, sir.
And it's my biggest fear because it's such a difficult thing
I had to learn how
for
to
you
do it.
push aside.
That man
Kaylee
PG
Anthony
be doing
was
the
a
little circle thing.
beautiful, sweet,
That boy rock.
innocent child who died far too soon. There's no doubt about it, and that is not disputed by anyone. But to
Watch this, some
parade
kinda
her
funny.
up here,
Watch this.
to invoke your emotion,
You're still in here, right, Dawn?
would be improper. It's improper under the
Oh,
law,
no.
and
You
it's
see them
improper
lines, bro?
as to the rules of your deliberation.
See them lines?
He went on for a great length
Yeah.
of time talking about this beautiful child.
Crop that out.
Not on his evidence, not on the evidence that was presented before you. It was to set up the emotion for what was to come. And that is exactly how this case was presented. They didn't come right out the gate and show you the evidence. They gave you 2 weeks of testimony that was completely irrelevant and served only one purpose. And that was to paint Casey Anthony as a slut, as a party girl, as a girl who lies, and has absolutely nothing to do with how Kaylee died. And this prosecution was geared in such a manner that it was deliberate, it was methodical, it was thorough, and it was detailed.
Mr. Baez then focuses on the fact that the state has the burden of proof, and thereafter continues to intertwine the two essential features of his argument, empathy and doubt.
Don't speculate. Don't guess.
Who's just doing the back, bro? You're not even paying attention, bro.
It has to be proven to you
Doing his own little
beyond
thing,
and to
bro.
the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. If you don't know what happened, it wasn't proven. We don't want you to tell us what you think happened. We want you to tell us what was proven happened. And that's the difference here. Because you know what? We can go on and speculate all day long as to the different theories that were posed before you.
Hey, bro, I don't care, bro. But if she died in the pool, right, and then she kept it a secret for at least a month, she gotta do some time, bro.
As to the different possibilities. But the truth
Right.
She don't gotta get
is
murdered or
it must be
anything, but
what
like
was
she
proven.
gotta do time, bro. At least
There are no
3
mysteries
to
to
5,
solve here.
3 to 10 years, bro.
There should be
In
no
there
mystery
somewhere.
before you right now. If you have questions, then it was not proven. And that's as simple as it
And the whole time she had a babysitter, right? Where was she at when she drowned, bro?
goes. Now, back to
She was with
what I
the nanny,
saying
Jay.
is
Huh?
Their
She was with the fake nanny, bro?
Yeah, bro.
initial setup, the way the case was presented, the first couple of weeks. You see, the strategy behind that is if you hate her, if you think she's a lying, no good slut,
The parents were paying her the whole time, bro. She been lying her whole life, bro.
then you'll start to look at this evidence in a different light. You'll start to, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm seeing something that's not there. And start to actually discriminate against her rather than give her the standard that is afforded to each and every citizen in our country. And that is that the state, that the government come in here and prove their case beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt.
I would have still hit him with the 3 to 5 years. Guilty. Come on.
You can get a jury to hate her. But you're here to fulfill an oath. You've labored tremendously over this journey. And we're going to ask you to render a verdict of not guilty on these charges because they simply were not proven. And they're simply not true.
For the 9th Judicial Circuit in and for Orange County, Florida. State of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July,
She's like, I got away with it. She
2011,
crying, bro.
signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2.
Fucking Florida, bro.
We, the jury, find the
Dumbass
defendant
Florida.
not guilty, so say we all.
Hey, bro, you know what else happened in Florida, bro? If you get in a car crash like what happened to me, bro, you still gotta pay, bro.
Did it at Orlando,
ain't bogus down
Orange
there,
County,
bro.
Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson.
Ain't no one gonna get in the fall, bro.
As
You
to the
both
charge
paying.
of aggravated
That's tough.
manslaughter of a child. Verdict
Why
as
am
to
I
count
paying for
3.
car insurance, bro?
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange
wanna read
County,
some of these
Florida, this
comments,
5th
too.
day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. And juror number 12, were these your true and correct verdicts? Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Will counsel and the defendant approach the podium?
Well, I hope that this is a lesson to those of you who have indulged in media assassination for 3 years, bias and prejudice,
Mom, they believe
and
in you.
incompetent talking heads saying what would be and how to be. I'm disgusted by some of the lawyers that have done this, and I can tell you that
All
my
of them, like,
colleagues
carry
from
down.
coast to coast and border to border
she
have
died by
condemned
guns,
this
then
whole
why did they supposed to have
process
saber craft the
of
ball?
lawyers
see,
being on
he
television
know,
and
bro.
talking about cases that they
I
don't
was
know a
thinking the
damn
same
thing
thing,
about
bro.
and don't have the experience to
Blame
back up their
fabrication with
words
zero
or the
substance
law
evidence.
to do it.
Why they
Now
can't
you
then
learned a
proceed to
lesson.
hide the body
And we
so nobody
appreciate
forget
the
about
jury,
it for
those of you that have
While
been
partying and getting
objective
those.
and professional.
Then
We
lie
like
over
it.
and over
Others,
explain confronted.
we're going to be talking to again. Thank you very much.
Casey did not murder Kaylee. It's that simple. And today,
It was not even.
our system of justice has not
Did I think
dishonored
you
her
guys can
memory
solve photos?
by
Oh crap! I'm dead.
a false conviction.
Oh. I think it was you. the jurors found her not guilty. Rest in peace, Kaylee. Rest in peace to Kaylee, bro. Someone lied herself out murder sentence. Wow. Dear diary, today I killed my kid. Jury, this could mean anything really. That's so bad, bro. I don't mean to be laughing, bro. One of the good people I've ever seen get set free. Unreal. Google's how to suffocate someone. Her car smells like a decomposing dead human. Her car smells like a decomposing dead human. Writes in diary she's not been happy for a long time while her child is missing, and she made the right choice. Do not contact anyone about. Well, these are all evidence right here, bro. Like, come on, man. What you mean ain't no evidence? That's everyone and willingly misleads the police. Shows no emotion towards the situation. Multiple signs of sociopathic behavior. Fabricate stories, make up characters, and lies about people who worked years ago. Oh my god. Right there, these are all evidence. Imagine being Jeff. Imagine being Jeff and never having met Casey, left Universal in 2002, not having a son, and having your name dragged into that murder story. Oh my goodness. Why he just took Kaylee up for adoption? Why murder her?